World of Warcraft's lore is exactly as I predicted it's gonna be at the start of the War Within. Chris Metzen did not do anything. He probably arguably made it worse. And the best way to summarize what's currently happening is it's bland, forgettable slop. But the best way to summarize everything that is happening is things happen because things need to happen. Nothing has cause, nothing really has any effect any longer. It's just one thing and you move to the other, and all the consequences of anything previously just vanish. It's sad, really. It's some of the worst world building I have seen in, honestly, any piece of fiction.
Xal'atath just got owned. The consequences for the story are huge, and that means the consequences for the game are huge. Let me show you something kind of insane. This is Karesh, the homeworld of the Ethereals, and it's actually the final cutscene of patch 11.1, essentially the post-credit scene that is teasing what's.
So let me explain what's happening. The Ethereals, the spooky, creepy guys that no one really was friends with, but some reason no one was really up against, that looked shady, did shady things, which no one ever thought to suspect them of anything, are now the evil guys and the masterminds behind all of this magically how, which doesn't really make a lot of sense considering these are the guys who lost to the Void, but now they're smarter than the Void? I'm not exactly sure. Yes, also, how is this possible? But that's what's happening.
Next for the game. And we've today got to go through a double cross that involves one item, the Dark Heart, and 3 players, Xal'atath, Gallywix, and Phase Thief Azir, the guy who we see in this final shot looking on what certainly appears to be the heart of a broken world. Now today's biggest loser is Gallywix, because he's dead. But Xal'atath is really not far behind. She's actually been outplayed, and today you will know the full story. And
it's sad that Beyblade has literally been the best character in World of Warcraft now for such a long time, isn't it, honestly?
I've gotta say, after sitting through the Jailer for all that time, it's nice having a villain who actually loses sometimes and who actually has to fight for their cause. Okay, let's explain the story. I've also got something really unsettling, but...
So, the first thing about Xal'atath is obviously the problem that she can't really lose. She was put in a position that she can't really lose in, but she does because reasons, I guess.
To understand the final shot of 11.1, we need to understand this one. This is the moment that Illyria cracked the Dark Heart, and that threw Xal's carefully laid plan into chaos.
This was probably one of the worst parts in storytelling ever done, because you need to understand, Xal'atath previously was literally playing with Illyria and literally everyone else here. She had complete 100% full power and control over everything that was happening here. And the best part is, in multiple other cutscenes, she is just shown to be able to, 1, teleport instantly, no enchantments, no casting, no nothing. She can just zoom, zoom, boom, boom, and there we go. Second of all, she has been shown to be able to literally just force Illyria to drop the bow and push it out of her hands. And here she doesn't do any of it. She's like, aha, I win. And she's like, nah, and then she fires an arrow and she's like, oh, guess I'm not gonna move my hands like this. Guess I'm just gonna move them like this so you can't. Again, it's just, this needs to happen, because otherwise the story doesn't work. There is no in-game lore reason for this to ever end up like this. It just happens because it needs to happen. And this is the whole goddamn story of World of Warcraft now. Bullshit happening because bullshit needs to happen, because the writers have no idea how to get to that point in a reasonable, real, believable way.
cracked the Dark Heart, and that threw Xal's carefully laid plan into chaos. To continue, Xal would need to get the Dark Heart fixed, and that's where the Goblins come in. And that's because, well, the Goblins originally made it. You see, the Dark Heart was a prototype of the Dragon Soul. Dragon Soul was an artifact designed to contain immense power, and it was made to Deathwing's design by the Goblins. So that's why Xal'atath turned to them. They're clearly the bunch who made it originally.
That's just effectively just more lore rewrites, technically. It's not really a rewrite, they're just adding more lore to already existing lore. But it's kind of cheap because, oh, so this thing with immense fucking power that doesn't work, function, or behave like the thing that they're describing right there, the Dragon Soul, that was the prototype for it? Like, what the fuck they were doing? It's those two things don't even look or feel alike. Like, and there you go. It's bad writing.
Originally, and more specifically, she went to the Black Fuse Goblins. They're basically the ones who made Garrosh's war machines, and it's their designs that actually armed the Iron Horde. And Xal cut a fairly simple deal, and this wasn't hard for her because she was already working with them. You see, she needed black blood and they needed weapons. That's why we saw the Dark Fuse Goblins during the War Within 11.0, and well, as it would turn out, they were in Gallywix's pocket. This worked, of course, for both sides. These black blood infused weapons are quite something. They do disintegrate people. But when Illyria struck the Dark Heart, well, the deal had to change because now she needed the Dark Heart mended, and she needed it mended fast. That sets the stage. But we had no idea that any of that was going on. All that we knew is something bizarre.
I don't actually know the full details of why there's an alliance or anything. It seems like Xal'atath should just be able to, like, kind of force Gallywix to do what she wants because, well, she can kill him, and he probably doesn't really like that, but
happened in the Ringing Deeps. It's immediately obvious that black blood extraction is stupidly, grimly brutal. So brutal that the operation head Pamsy, in a bit of an act of desperation, blows a hole into the Ringing Deeps. That's how we find out. So we catch wind of this. We band together with Rowena and Gazlo, and we end the Black Blood operation. Then we make our way to Undermine. And in this opening cutscene, Gallywix is asserting his power over the cartel leaders, but once alone, Xal'atath appears to him. And the power dynamic is rather flipped because she needed that Dark Heart repaired yesterday, but it's not yet fixed. Now, Xal'atath obviously doesn't trust Gallywix. He's Gallywix, but from her point of view, well, the Goblins are the people who know how to fix this, and that means that Xal'atath actually didn't have much leverage, other than her being inherently, you know, kinda spooky and threatening. The thing is, none
I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure threatening to kill someone is, and being able to do it, and the opposition thinking that you can do it, is a lot of leverage. I don't know about you, but that sounds like the definition of leverage, in my opinion.
None of this was known to Illyria, though. We were only there to bust the Black Blood operation, but by investigating that operation, we would stumble upon a warehouse in downtown Undermine, and that's where things would really kick into gear. Along the way, we noticed something a little odd. Goblin-made ethereal detecting robots. What the hell were they doing there? Well, the answer was fairly obvious because we then found a letter from the very ethereals that those robots were built to detect. And this letter basically warns us to stay out of their affairs, which, you know, was kind of a surprise to us, but we had the more pressing matter of wrestling Undermine from Gallywix, who had beaten the cartels into submission, with a good example being Marin Noggenfodder. You might know him from his famous elixir, back, of course, in WoW Classic. In this case, though, his wife and his daughter are held hostage, and it's with the Noggenfodders that everything ends up converging. So, our Black Blood investigation leads us to the Dark Heart, which of course needed the blood to be repaired. And after following a lead to Zandalar, we return to find the Noggenfodder's compound flooded.
How does that even work? Isn't there, like, black blood all over the fucking place? What? Why would... If your whole thing is about black blood and it's used everywhere, how the hell does investigating black blood just magically lead you to the heart? Like, what? Why?
With ethereals. Thankfully, Illyria is on hand. We're able to fight them off. We follow clues, and soon enough, our quest to free Noggenfodder's family leads us to Gallywix, Dark Heart in hand. But as we very soon find out, everyone was played. We were played, Xal'atath was played, and Gallywix was very much played.
That sounds like another complete rando, no reason, no explanation. Haha, I am also a bad guy. I need to be a boss in the raid. Have fun.
Okay, let me set the scene. We reach the warehouse only to find Gallywix's elite guard dead, and they've got ethereal fire in their bodies. We press on though, and we find a gloating Gallywix, because for him, it appears that everything's worked out perfectly. He's got his guns. They're really cool guns. Xal'atath's got her trinket, and Undermine will be his forever. But still, he's got the repair.
Is he an idiot? The trinket is literally in his hands, so how does this even work?
His forever. But still, he's got the repaired Darkheart. Xal'atath hasn't picked it up yet, so he could leverage her for even more. But that's when Faye's thief Azir appears. He effortlessly rips the Darkheart from Gallywix's hand, gives us a real hilarious looking cutscene, and then he disappears. Gallywix is a little bit spooked. He makes a quick exit, and for us, it's definitely quite a loss. I mean, the good news, we've saved the Noggenfodder's family. The cartels...
So, he could have just did that at any point and just got away, but he didn't. 10 out of 10.
...are on side, but from our perspective, well, Gallywix has escaped, and an Ethereal has just got the Darkheart. Now, we've seen Xal'atath work with Ethereal, so we just assume, oh dear, Xal'atath has won. But if that was a bad day for us, Gallywix's day was about to get a whole lot worse.
It seems your time has run out, Gallywix.
The fact that she, by the way, just randomly appears at all the places at all the times and has unlimited power of appearing is... but she can't appear when the heart is ready and she can just take it as... kind of wild, considering she's ridiculously powerful even without the heart and shit. Like, didn't she blow up Dalaran and made it into dust or something?
You got here just in time. There.
Where?
What?
You gave it to the Ethereals?
He wasn't working for you? I didn't know. I swear. Hey, we can still fix this. Just help me stomp this rebellion.
You have outlived your usefulness.
Yeah, those Ethereals weren't with her, so Zal is pissed. And sure, Gallywix could have cut a deal and he could have double-crossed her, but it's not like he handed the Darkheart over in a planned...
This requires you to suspend so much belief and give so much credit to all of these characters that they are not brain damaged. It's just insane. Again, the writing is just horrible. Again, things happening because of things. Like, is there an explanation why Xal'atath just constantly doesn't randomly... Like... You're talking about a character that literally can teleport and appear anywhere out of thin air. And that has the power to defeat pretty much everyone? But, you know, it's like, why do that, I guess?
...willing way. No, Gallywix slowly realizes that these Ethereals were not working for Xal'atath, and that, like with Queen Answer...
Also, be Xal'atath. Beyblade. Be one of the smartest people in the world that has orchestrated all of these magical, fucking gaslight operations, things, and stuff over the decades. Here you have Gallywix. A guy who double-crossed you, who is now your opponent, who is always gonna be your opponent at some point, and he's like dead, alone, defenseless. You could kill him, but you choose not to, because reasons, I guess. This is stupid.
Direct. Well, he was no longer useful to her. So, Xal'atath is furious, she leaves, we liberate Undermine, and then we play the Epilogue. Of course, the Epilogue being a bit more spicy, because the only reason the Ethereals were able to get the Darkheart is because they, realized that we were going to end up finding it, and they trailed us, so we kind of did all the hard work for them. Okay, here's how Xal'atath got completely owned.
Oh boy.
Let's break this scene down. So that's Face Thief is here. He's got the Dark Heart, and he's standing in front of what looks to be the remnant of a void-corrupted world soul. And given all that we know, it's almost certainly Karesh, which is the fallen ethereal homeworld. Now, I say fallen, not destroyed. You see, the lore there is that yes, the Void Lord Dimensius was summoned in, right? But the Ethereal's mastery of arcane magic ground his invasion to a standstill. They unleashed so much magic that they basically lost their physical forms. That's why they're inscribed in bandages. We actually know little else, but using our eyes, it sure seems that this looks like a world soul suffocating in void energy. And I'm not going to go on a massive tangent about, oh my god, the swirlies line up, but suffice to say, that swirl that we see, well, that swirls in the Emerald Dream and loads of other places that seem world soul coded. So it absolutely...
Ah, yes. Anything that swirls... World building. Anything that swirls is whatever this is supposed to be. 10 out of 10.
does seem like that is the world soul of Karesh. And that sparks a question. What's actually happening? Is Xal'atath bad at her job, and
Yes.
what's behind all of this? Well, we know that Azir stole the Dark Heart.
Remember, there can never be a main villain. There can be only a secret, real main villain always working behind the scenes because reasons.
And thus far, we've only seen the Dark Heart absorb energy. So we could just say that maybe Azir wants to consume the last of Karesh. But I actually don't think that's it. No. I think that he will use the Dark Heart to waken Karesh as a Void Titan, or something similar to that. It would essentially be a twist on Legion's ending, right? It's the idea of a world soul being bombarded with energy that's well established in the game, and the Dark Heart has a hell of a lot of energy. It's got the weird Void essence that made Gallywix such a hungry boy. It's got the energy of Dalaran, which is a lot. It's got Belladar and likely loads and loads of black blood. That leaves us with two questions, and the next one to tackle: is Xal'atath bad at her job?
By the way, is his audio completely fucked, or is that just me?
Let's review Xal's performance so far. So, after outplaying us through Dragonflight and much of the War Within, she's actually now lost twice in a row. Her other minor defeats, like say Magni cleansing the Halls of Awakening, I don't really think count that much to me.
The Halls of Awakening was an event that you literally had no idea is happening, that you just luckily, as always, stumbled upon exactly at the right time. It happens.
Because I think those were basically distractions. But what's
And then you replace the evil man with a smart, independent woman that always should have gotten the job, but she didn't because again, this is just a little bit of that sweet intersectional feminism. Just add it.
core here is the Dark Heart is the linchpin of her plan, and it's now in the hands of the Ethereals. And while her and the Ethereals are both of the Void, and there are Ethereals who she's allied with, these guys are clearly not friends. And I think that's what makes Xal'atath a great villain, actually. She can lose. Her plans are in-depth. They're often very successful, but it's
That's not in debt! You literally control an army of Nerubians. People who can literally burrow and make tunnels everywhere in the ground, and you're fighting underground. And you can't even coordinate that shit for a single useful attack? Like, my god.
It's not an impersonal, pitiful mortals, jailer-style mastermind piece of mush. She has got to fight for her.
At this point, I honestly preferred the jailer saying, oh yeah, I fucking planned your... Oh no, wait, that's Aizen from Bleach. You know what? I prefer Aizen from Bleach over whatever the fuck this is with Xal'atath now, because this is more obnoxious at this point. Because it's just, none of it makes sense, okay? The jailer was at least comedically fucking stupid. And the fact that it turns out he was a Roomba with knives attached to forearms was even funnier at the end. But this is different.
Her victories, she actually gets visibly pissed off and furious. That kind of makes her more dangerous. And the basic fact that she's had to fight from a position of weakness to get her victories has been true for all these years, where she had to operate stuck in a blink.
Yeah, and that's why people liked it. That's why people like this thing, okay? Because it was reasonable stuff, not, oh, now I have all the power, all the advantages, but I still managed to fuck it all up to an extreme obscene level. I got teleportation, but let me just, hold this target in front of you because reasons. It's so dumb. It is so unbelievably dumb.
Blade and purely just manipulate things. And I think that makes her a pretty damn great character. That's why I'm excited for the future. So let's talk about that. The stage is set for both her and us to converge on Karesh. Obviously, she needs the Dark Heart. If its energy is spent, she will lose. And if it's spent on waking Karesh, then that will be a threat that we will need to stop, and probably also that she will need to stop. I imagine anyway. But if we thwart Azir's...
By the way, yeah, he said, okay, this is what I was waiting for. Because this is... Who here honestly is not thinking, wait a minute, is Xal'atath gonna become an ally? Is Xal'atath gonna become a good boy? Girl? Yeah, probably. That would be my guess. That would be my guess. That Xal'atath is gonna have a redemption story. I hope it's better than the fucking retarded Frost Dragon, Elder Dragon, or whatever the hell they're called. You know, the evil man... Fire Dragon was bad, but the Frost Dragon was, well, you know what? I have killed a lot of you, but I'm now on your side. And everyone's like, yay! My brother's dead. This is fantastic. Ugh.
plan before the Dark Heart's energy is spent, then we will risk her getting it, and that can't be good. Which kind of begs a question. Who are these Ethereals, and what?
I don't know. Neither do I honestly care. Anyway, that was Billy at World of Warcraft 10 out of 10. World of Warcraft is sad. That's all I'm gonna say. Bye!